So I know it's hard to sift through, between the multiple election newses and the COVID news and, the war in the Middle East to find, topics of other interest. But how many of you took note of the fact that it turns out there's water on the moon? It sounds like it might be, it has the potential to be viable quantities of water. By viable quantities, we would mean enough to be useful, obviously, and readily harvestable in some form and processable in some form. So I don't know that they've really quantified those final issues yet. But the other significant thing about this finding is that water is on the sunny side of the moon. So if the quantities turn out to be viable, that two things, viable water in sunlight on the moon, I will just go ahead and predict is quite likely going to kick off our next genuine space race. That's a bit unfortunate. I would think we would all be better off if it instead kicked off a massive joining of the world's great space agencies and governments. But I'm thinking that's probably not going to happen. And you know what? The cooperative way might be the slower way. So it's time to start a betting pool on who's going to be in on this race. It's a given that China's going to be in the front of it. Will the U.S. opt in or opt out? It's hard to know what the U.S. current stance on science is. So let's review why. Why is that so exciting? Well, to start with, if you have water and it's sitting in sunlight, that means you also have energy. And if you have water and you have energy, then now you have oxygen and you have hydrogen. If you can come up with a source of nitrogen, now you have air. If you've got hydrogen and oxygen, you got rocket fuel. You see where I'm going with this? Now you have a base. The fact that you don't have to haul water to your base is actually the minor issue here. The fact that the base can manufacture fuel for a return to Earth or to move further on, that's by far the more exciting thing. Viable water on the sunny side of the moon is the gateway to the colonization of the solar system. Not saying we never would have been able to achieve it any other way, but if there's a way to relieve the burden of lifting out of Earth's gravity well, then the possibilities of expanding our civilization beyond this teeny little dust speck are advanced considerably. I don't know how anybody could not be excited about that. This is probably the most exciting news it's probably the most exciting news since Kennedy said he'd put a man on the moon in this decade. Let's put a base on the moon in this decade. Just saying. Have a nice day.